On October 4th, 2021, a powerful and poised woman sits at her sleek, modern desk, surrounded by reports that hold the potential to reshape entire economies. She knows the weight of her decisions. The world is watching every move she makes. Suddenly, her phone buzzes. She receives countless messages daily, but this one has the power to destroy her entire life. This woman is Kristalina Georgieva, the Managing Director at the International Monetary Fund. She was just informed that the board had initiated an investigation into serious allegations against her, claiming she manipulated data to favor a specific country. If this allegation is proven true, it would tarnish Kristalina's reputation and undermine the integrity of the IMF. However, if the IMF's credibility is on the line, how do we know the institution uses its power and resources fairly? The simplest question also remains, how does the IMF have money? The IMF is more than just a financial institution. Powerful countries and financial entities, like the IMF, dictate the rules. This institution can shape and direct major financial trade and policy decisions that impact a country's interactions, investments, and growth. But it's not a level playing field. So, how has it upheld its power? To understand this, we have to go back to July 1944. Amidst the war and disruption, the leaders of 44 allied nations gathered in a small town in New Hampshire, Bretton Woods. The stakes were high. The global economy was in shambles, and the shadows of the Great Depression still haunted the world. In the room, men like Harry Dexter White and John Maynard Keynes debated fiercely. Their vision was radical. They proposed a new financial system that would prevent another economic collapse. White, the American economist, pushed for an organization that would serve as a lender, ensuring that countries wouldn't fall into ruin when times got tough. Keynes, the British economist, had a similar vision but believed in greater global collaboration and a bigger safety net. For 3 intense weeks, they argued, negotiated, and compromised. The result? A new institution that would keep the world's economy stable. The International Monetary Fund, IMF. They had just laid the foundation for what would become one of the most powerful financial bodies in the world. Now, the IMF holds vast financial resources, nearly $1 trillion. This immense pool of money allows the IMF to step in when countries face economic collapse. But what does it mean when a country turns to the IMF for help? The answer isn't just about money. The IMF headquarters is in Washington, D.C., just 3 blocks west of the White House. It has 12 floors and spans an impressive 649,000 square feet with floor-to-ceiling glass. Its design strategy protects against explosives and biological threats. The building's sleek minimalist design emphasizes transparency, symbolizing the organization's commitment to openness and collaboration. This global boardroom is where the fate of entire economies is decided. But how? The IMF's operations are based on a quota-based system. This means that each of the 190 member countries has to contribute financial resources based on their relative economic size. These quotas also determine a country's voting power and access to IMF resources. So, what does the IMF do for their member countries? Essentially, the top 3 foundations the IMF is set on are lending, surveillance, and capacity building. When a member country finds itself in financial distress, it can turn to the IMF for assistance. The IMF will provide a loan to help the country stabilize its economy, but under certain conditions, the government is bound to take. While these conditions are intended to stabilize the economy, they often lead to significant political and social consequences. They frequently require cutting back on government spending, which means a lack of resources for healthcare and education. It can even lead to high unemployment rates, making it harder for families to make ends meet and sparking social unrest. In addition, the IMF monitors global and national economies to identify potential risks and provide policy advice. It also focuses on strengthening countries' institutions and technical skills to ensure effective economic management and sustainable growth. All of these crucial decisions are made by the 24 members of the executive board under the supervision of the managing director. The investigation against Kristalina Georgieva kicked off swiftly. The IMF's executive board, composed of member country representatives, began collecting evidence. They scrutinized the 2018 Doing Business Report's data and processes. Interviews were conducted, focusing not only on Kristalina, but also on her colleagues from the World Bank. Kristalina's stance was clear. She completely denied the allegations from the start. The investigation lasted approximately 3 weeks, during which she faced a mix of support and scrutiny. The media coverage was relentless. Headlines speculated about her potential ousting and questioned her credibility. Meanwhile, she continued to fulfill her responsibilities, addressing global economic issues while maintaining a composed exterior. Behind the scenes, she received calls from allies within the organization and beyond, offering encouragement, but the pressure weighed heavily on her. On October 26, 2021, the IMF Executive Board concluded the investigation. They found no conclusive evidence that Kristalina had acted improperly. While acknowledging the situation's complexities, the board expressed confidence in her leadership. The questions surrounding the IMF remain unanswered, despite Kristalina Georgieva's not being found guilty of tampering with reports and skewing China's results. Critics of the IMF believe the quota system has led to a severe underrepresentation of poorer countries in decision-making. Currently, the United States holds about 17% of the voting power, giving it de facto veto power over major decisions, as most important IMF policies require an 85% supermajority vote. China also has a significant influence due to its large quota. Additionally, U.S.-supported policies like austerity measures, which reduce government spending, benefit large corporations and financial institutions more than the local economies they impact. But the real question is, are we seeing an institution upholding fairness, or does the IMF's structure tilt the balance toward those already in power? Does it ensure global stability, or is it a system consolidating control for a few?